Hello everybody, happy Sunday. This is Alice and this is Protect Your Glow, the podcast. As you guys can see, I have a very beautiful and special guest with me here, my friend Falia Justima. And today we're doing another interview because you guys mentioned how much you loved the last one and with my sister Esther Lully. So I wanted to keep this going for you guys. Also to provide you some information that you may or may not already know about. And this year I really want to focus on doing some more interviews simply because God has placed some really incredible men and women in my life whom I have the honor of calling friend. And not only that, a few of them are entrepreneurs, teachers, educators, moms, speakers, coaches, doctors, etc. Y'all, my squad is dope! Okay? And I can't wait for you guys to meet some of them. Today, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite realtors and friend, like I said before, Falia Justima. And to give you guys a little bit of background about her, she's a Florida licensed professional who combines her love for real estate with her passion for education. She has been a Southwest Florida resident for more than 20 years. She's also a graduate from Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers, Florida. And she attributes most of her success not only to her passion for homes, but also to her ability to connect with people on a personal level. Her clientele works in diverse industries with an emphasis on education, finance, medicine, business, and the arts. She delivers results and an enjoyable experience. Her clients are her priority. They can count on her any time of day when they have questions or concern. When she's not assisting her real estate clients, Falia enjoys teaching, business, and entrepreneurship to high school students. She also enjoys volunteering in her community and spending time with her family. Okay, so Falia and I met her at my brother's house on a Sunday. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, I met her conversating with my brother and her husband, and they were having this like intense conversation about like Haiti politics and stuff. And I'm like, I'm Haitian, but I don't really know much about Haitian politics. But I was like, this sounds really interesting. So I'm sitting there like, okay, she's going back and forth with her husband, with my brother, and I'm like, this is a dope conversation. And I don't know, like, we just through that time, I was just sitting there, and then I just really like, I don't know, my spirit vibe with her, because when I meet somebody, I can tell if we gonna like connect or not. And I just felt like Falia, like me and you had the same energy, like, you know. And I don't know nobody that works as hard as Falia, you guys. This lady is a teacher. She's a realtor. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mom. She's a wife. Like, I don't even know how you do it half of the time. I love sharing the same space with her. We even went through dinner a few times. And it's always fun and honest and positive. So what really intrigued me about Falia was her personality. Like I told you guys, it echoed mine. My husband and I, we hired Falia to purchase our very first home. And not only is she really knowledgeable about the home buying process, but we love the way, Falia, that you educated us about along the way, and which was really helpful for us as a first-time buyer, because anybody that knows me knows Alice will ask you 1,000 questions until she understands what it is exactly she's getting herself into. And Falia was patient with us. She answered all our questions, all our worries, all our fears. And so I think you guys will find today that the information she's going to provide to you will be very helpful. And without any further ado, that's enough about me talking. Let's dive into these questions, Miss Falia. First question for you is, what can you tell someone who is thinking about buying their first home but doesn't know where to begin? What is the first thing he or she needs to do?
Awesome question, Alice. And thank you for that wonderful, thoughtful introduction.
You're welcome.
And I want to say that I also enjoy your company, you know.
Thank you. Thank you, Boo.
And thank you for having me on your wonderful podcast, Protect
Absolutely.
Your Glow. It's really an honor to be here. So to answer the question, which is a very, very important question, you know, the home buying process is really a major decision. I do come across clients all the time telling me like, you know, this has been my dream and I just don't know what to do. What's the first step to take to be able to become a homeowner? To make this simple and easy, there are just basically two things you need to know. If you find yourself thinking about owning a home, you need to know two things, and they are, the first one is, what is your financial status? Basically, do you have an income? And if you don't have an income, where would the money to purchase the home come from? There's what they call cash buyers. They're buyers who have the money available, so it's not an issue for them to come up with $300,000, $400,000. But if you're not someone who maybe have that kind of cash laying around, or you can borrow it somewhere, you will need to go through a bank. And the lenders, the people who will finance your home, will base that decision on two things: your income and your credit credit. They're going to want to know, do you have money coming in? If you don't have cash, that's why you'd go to a lender to get a mortgage. And they're going to want to know, what is your credit? What is your record as far as you borrowing money before and your ability to pay back? Now, we're not talking about debt. We're talking about something different here. It's not like you can't owe anybody money, but they want to know your track record, and that's going to show up on your credit report. So two things you need if you're thinking about buying a home: start looking at your income and see, okay, do I have a job? Do I have the ability to pay extra as far as a mortgage payment every month? Look at your credit. What is your track record? Have you filed bankruptcy? Have you have any judgments against you? What is your credit score? And again, that could be like a whole other podcast where I can help people with credit and all that. But you do need to look at those two things: income and credit. Income is your ability to bring money in, and hence, why they're going to look at to see if you have a job. Are you going to be able to pay back the loan in the form of a monthly mortgage? And credit, what is your ability to pay back this loan and stick with your monthly payments for the next 20, 30 years?
Okay. And what should a person look for in choosing the right realtor?
Another great question. So how do you choose the right realtor? Based on my experience, here's my advice to everyone. Okay. So first, the person would have to define what is right. Okay. What's right for me? As you heard Alice said, she is someone who likes to know what's going on. She wants to know the process. She may want to stay informed throughout the process. What's going on? Am I qualified for this loan? What type of house am I going to get? So what's right for her may not be right for someone else.
Right.
Okay, I've met people on both sides where our clients are really want to be involved and be aware of what's going on every step of the way. I've had clients with whom I would talk to 2-3 times a day, giving them updates on what's going on. Then the next morning they're calling me again, trying to figure out where we are in the process. And I've had clients who trust me with the whole process and be like, look, this is what I need. Let me know where to sign. Basically, So you have to figure out what is right for you. Find someone who will have the ability to provide, to look after your best interest the way you see that is best for you. So, but I also have some specific things I can recommend that people do if they're looking for a realtor. So once you determine what that right person is, I would recommend for you to actually look within your community first, okay? Stay local. For example, if you live in North Florida, you want to sell your home where you live in North Florida, you probably have a better chance to find a realtor in that area who knows the community, who knows maybe someone who may be there already to buy your home versus hiring a realtor from a different part of the state who doesn't know the community, doesn't know the area. Stay within your community. I really believe like in your community, if you look closely, you will find people who will care about the process and be willing to help you and go all the way for you. Start with your network. You can start with family, friends, neighbors, people from church, people from work. Chances are they've had a transaction with a realtor that they really like and they're willing to recommend that person. I have never recommended anybody to someone I didn't like or I didn't like doing business with them. So people will recommend people they're comfortable with the process. So if they're happy with that person, chances are you'll have a better chance being happy with them as well. With that, I would say, ask them. Say, would you be, if you had to buy a home again or sell a home again, would you rehire that person? And go with that. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone when you get a referral and talk to that realtor. You can interview them. I've had potential clients call me and let me know I'm actually interviewing realtors.
I did that.
I'm interviewing realtors and I haven't made my decision yet, but I have some questions and they want to know if you can answer those questions. And again, during that call, you can kind of like check the vibe. Is this someone who's gonna, help me? Is this gonna be a right fit for me? Okay, you can kind of tell. For example, if you call someone 48 hours later and they haven't returned your call, do you really think that person will care if you have a question?
Exactly.
The next hour, not that they may not care, but they might be too busy at the time. They may not have the time to give you the attention that you need with the process because they have maybe 50 other deals going on. So you want to pick up the phone and call. And lastly, just check their credential. Check your states of business for Department of Business for a state, and you can pull up any realtor's name and you will know if they're in good standing with the state. If their credentials are valid, you'll know if they have had any disciplinary actions against them in the past or currently, and establish a good rapport. So I think once you talk to someone, you will know whether or not this person will be the right fit for you. So do your due diligence. Again, I think referrals are very much a good way to choose someone, and people tend to refer people they trust and they like. So
I agree, because I can relate to a lot of stuff that Faya's saying about choosing the right realtor, because Faya was not our first choice. Our first choice was recommended to us by our lender. You know, it was our first time. We didn't really know like what to expect out of a realtor. I didn't have nobody asking the question that I'm asking now. So all the information that Faya's giving you guys is really valuable, because I wish somebody would have given me those questions. Hence why I do these podcasts for you guys.
Awesome.
So you won't have to go through what I went through. And so the first realtor we had, she was really nice, middle-aged woman, very nice. But at the same time, it was like I couldn't connect with her for some reason. And because I was new to the process, she was speaking to me like I was somebody that already knew about the home buying process, and giving me all these lingos. And I think she meant well, but I had no idea what she was saying. And it doesn't look like she had the time to teach me anything. And then so I reached out to my brother. I was like, do you know anybody like that does this stuff? And he recommended Faya. And I was like, you know what? I do remember Faya, because I remember when I was looking for a rental, this lady right here, she was hustling to get me this rental. And I was like, if Faya can hustle that hard to get me a rental, I know she will get me a home.
I got you, girl.
Yes, she did. And she delivered for real. She delivered. So it's really important for real that you find someone that you're comfortable with and not afraid to ask questions, because I was myself with her. She's telling me what I want to hear and tell me what I don't want to hear, to give me the truth. Like, Alice, this is where you stand. This is what to expect. And I love that, you know. So it is important to take your time.
It was an interesting process as well, because you are buying a builder home, a new home under construction that was being built, and there's like a whole. It's like a whole other scenario, monster. But you were so, gracious through the whole process. And even when I had to call and say, hey, things are not going as fast as we would like, it wasn't, you weren't going crazy on me.
I was optimistic. Because I was like, you know what? I just know she's working in the background. Like, I know you're not sitting there twirling your thumbs and stuff like that. So I just knew she was doing what she had to do for us in the background. And it's that trust too. Like, you got to have that trust. Like, this person's not only in it for the money, because some people are in it for the money, but like Faya, like I just knew that, you know what, she's gonna do her best. And I'm not saying this because she's my friend. I'm giving y'all the raw. Y'all know me. I like to, I like to keep it honest. I want somebody to be honest with me, and she was just really fighting for us, and I really admired that about you.
Thank you.
All right, so on to our next question. How important is it? You talked about what we need to have first, our finances in order in the first question. But how important is it to have your finances in order as a first-time home buyer, especially?
First-time home buyers, there's a lot of misconception around the term first-time home buyers. What I'll say is that there are many programs out there to help first-time home buyers, but those programs, they have limitations. So regardless if you find a great program that will help you, and like I said, some of them are really good out there, but you just have to know everything. Finances is everything. Your finance is like at the center of the transaction. Even if you were to find a program that will pay 100% of your closing costs, or in case of, for example, VA, where veterans get 100% of their costs covered, there are always other fees creeping up on you that if you don't anticipate them, you may not be able to actually close the deal. Because let's say you find a lender, and with your credit score and your income, which I mentioned earlier, you're able to get a good loan. Let's say a FHA loan, which is a very common loan, type of loan for first-time home buyers. They're going to require you to have 3.5% of that transaction down. Sometimes it can go up a little higher, it might be a little lower, but generally 3.5% is what you're gonna need. Let's say that you're buying a home that is $200,000, just for the sake of numbers. You're gonna need about $7,000 out of pocket as your down payment, because even though the bank approves you for the loan, they will not cover the loan 100%, unless you have what they call a veteran, a VA loan. Every other type of loan out there, mortgage loan, is going to require you to come up with some type of down payment. So you have your down payment, which is your portion of the loan that you have to come up with. You also will have what they call closing costs. Those could add up depending on if you're getting a single family home or if you're moving into a condo, an association, a community. Those fees will add up.
Yep.
So you will need your down payment, which is anywhere from 3 to 5% or even 10% depending on the type of the loan. And you will need closing costs.
Yep.
You know, those are like your prorated taxes, HOA fees, and so on and so forth. It can add up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So even with programs that are out there to help first-time home buyers, don't expect it to be zero out of pocket because there's no such thing.
Right.
So you will have to come up with some money. Sometimes it's in the form of an inspection for the home.
Yeah.
If you're buying a home that is not brand spanking new, you want to have an inspection. I encourage my clients to get that inspection done. And you as a buyer, you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Okay. You're paying an inspector for someone to check the house, make sure everything is okay. And those can run anywhere, I want to say anywhere from $350 to $600-$700 out of pocket. A lot of times, for example, for VA loan, not only you need to get a home inspection, you need to get a termite inspection. Things can come up where the lender may ask you to, or we need to schedule this, we need to schedule that. There's the appraisal. You are paying for the appraisal. This is all part of what money that's going to come out of your pocket. So it is super important that you have some money saved. If you don't have the money saved, where can you borrow the money other than the loans? You have a parent, a friend that you can say, hey, I need a few $1,000s and then I'll pay you back. You need to have some money saved because you cannot go through the home buying process with zero money out of pocket.
Yeah.
Even if there are programs that will help you with the down payment, you will still incur some fees. And the best thing is to be prepared. If you intend to buy, start saving money. And like I said earlier, know what your credit score is. Unless you have the cash available, you need your credit score is a major part of it because that's what will determine the type of interest that you get.
Yeah.
Hence, what you're going to pay every month
Right.
for a mortgage. So,
Right.
finances is everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
For sure. What are the pros and cons of buying a first home?
So I'll tell you, if you had asked me that question maybe 10 years ago, I would say there are no cons to buying a home. It's a good thing. It's a positive.
Yeah.
You buying a home, you're not paying rent. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
But now, knowing what I know and with my experience with buyers, I would tell you, there could be some negative side of buying a first home. Those are basically your preparedness. Were you prepared before you made that decision to buy a home?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, we know it's a major financial decision. You can't go into it without any money. You've got to have some money. It's a major purchase. Even if you were to get most of your costs covered, you got to have some money. So a con would be that you go into the buying process blindly and not have any money.
Right.
Or not have enough money where you have to lose the deal and back out because you don't have the cash.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because things will come up. There are some costs that could be predicted, but there are some costs that may come out of nowhere. For example, for an FHA loan, they would require the house to be, all the appliances to be there. They would require the house to be meet a certain standard.
Yeah.
As far as the quality of the home, any type of major issues or repairs would need to be done. That usually comes up after the inspection,
Okay.
which you would pay for. Okay, so the con would be to go into it blindly and not anticipate costs.
Yeah,
because that's a big one. The other thing I would say is that people may have too high of an expectation as far as what you can get, especially if it's your first home. I remember when I was buying my first home, and I still live in my first home.
Yes,
actually, 20 years, long time.
That's awesome. Though.
I had some really high expectations, but when I hit the market shopping for a home, I quickly realized, oh my God, I'm not gonna get the home of my dream.
Right.
Sometimes you have to put aside a high expectation and look at realistically how much home I need.
Yeah.
And how much home can I afford?
Yes.
So if you go into this process blindly, even if you're able to cover your costs to close the home, you might find yourself a year later struggling because the mortgage is too much or you didn't anticipate all those extra fees like community fees. Sometimes those fees double and triple.
Yep.
And
taxes.
Exactly. And if you can't keep up with the payment, you may lose your home, which is a hard reality for a lot of people. It's like, okay, when I bought the home, I had a good job, I was able to afford it, but I didn't have enough money saved for a rainy day, and now I have to lose my home. So you may not need to have everything you think you should have right now.
So it means it shouldn't have to be your dream home.
It can be.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
On your preparedness.
True.
So I think some people go into it with very high expectation, and I think you really should do a little bit of homework, knowing how much home do you need and how much home can you afford.
I like that.
So those are the cons mostly with first-time home buyer, other than sometimes people have bad experiences either with the realtor they're working with, the agent they're working with. But, all that aside, you really have to be prepared. You can't really go, unless you have someone there to educate you, you need to take the step and educate yourself and save money. Finances is everything. Pros, oh my God, there's so many. You are building wealth. You are acquiring assets. You're not paying someone else's mortgage.
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
Building equity.
Yep.
You have asset to keep in the family. Pass it down. Deed it to a friend or a family member.
Yep.
It's a good thing all around owning a home, except when you're not prepared to deal with the little bit of downside that can come up with the process.
Yeah, very good. We're moving on. So what are some of the unique challenges you've seen Black women or families face in purchasing a new home?
Well, there are some challenges throughout the process. Major one, I would say, is really financial education. Not having the knowledge to go into the home buying process, getting into it without having maybe someone you trust to help you through it, or not being prepared. Like in your case, you mentioned there's some things you didn't know. You don't know the language. You don't know the ins and outs of a loan. You basically go in by trusting someone to help you with that. And with families, whether it's Black families, single parents, financial education is really a big hurdle in the way of a lot of people buying homes and building wealth. I think really there's a need, especially in our community, for financial education. Actually, one of my partners, who is also a realtor, and my sister, we have seen this issue in our community for years and years and years. We had been working with clients who probably, again, don't have the education, don't know about credit, and their relationship with money probably wasn't good. And when we work with them, sometimes we work with them for 6 months before they actually can be ready to buy the home.
Wow.
A lot of times it's because of budgeting or not saving. Other times it's because of taxes. Whatever the reason, we've always worked with our clients to get them to that point where they're ready. One thing I didn't like when I first became a realtor is you would work with a client and they would go for the mortgage application and the bank would say you're not approved, and that's it. That's okay, where do I go now?
Right.
You're not approved, you can't get the loan, and that's it. We hated that. So we decided to create Bridge Advisors LLC, which is a personal finance company. You should check us out at bridgeadvisors.org.
Yes.
What we do provide that financial coaching that is needed from the time someone says, I want to buy a home, up to the time when we hand them their keys.
That's good.
So if it requires them to work on their credit, we work with them.
Yeah.
Because eventually they will get there. So homeownership is not an impossibility.
Right.
It's just that you need a plan.
Yes.
You need a plan. And and the sooner you know what you need to work on, and the sooner you start working on that, the closer you are to that homeownership dream.
Yeah.
And with Bridge Advisors, we were able to coach our clients. We have some clients who need budgeting. It's not like they don't make the money. They're making good money, but they never budget and they don't see it. So we work with them. We have other clients who have issues with their credit. We work with them, and however long that takes, like I said, sometimes 3 to 6 months. Some people need a year, but eventually they stick with the plan and they're able to become homeowners. There are some challenges. I think financial education is the main one. Not only education, because now you know what to do, but what are you going to do about it?
Right.
So knowledge is power.
Right.
But what you do with that knowledge is even that much more powerful.
Application.
Absolutely.
Because knowledge without application is pointless.
It is pointless.
Right.
So now that you know what to do, what do you do about it? And one of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou.
We love her.
And she said that do the best you can until you know better. Yep. And when you know better, do better.
That's right.
I basically live my life by that quote.
Simple as that.
So I think there are a lot of obstacles, but the major one is financial education.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways people can educate themselves right now, but you have to know, and you have to understand you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And trust the experts to actually get you there.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, Falia. I want to just piggyback off of what you said about planning. When my husband and I decided to purchase our home, first it was an idea. I wrote it on paper. Like, I had a vision of the home that I wanted, but no idea on how we were going to get it, right? But I knew that I wanted a home, and I figured, you know what? We're making good money, and I know we can't afford a home. Why are we giving it all away to rent? Not that whoever's renting right now, everybody has their own different financial issues or financial goals.
Right.
That's that. But for me, I was like, I just know that I can be a home buyer. And it's also too to show our children, being that I'm Haitian, my parents never owned a home. My mom and dad rented for like 20 years. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep going that way and showing my kids that this is how life is, right? So we had a plan to purchase our home, but first thing I did do was I wrote it down on paper, talked to God about it, and then I talked to my husband about it. Then when he jumped on board, then I was like, okay, what do we do next? I didn't know what to do next, so I called my brother. He's the plug in my family, like Jonas, because he was the first one to buy a home in our family. So
every family needs a brother like yours, for sure.
Yeah, he's the plug, man. I was like, what I gotta do to get a home? And he's like, no, first thing you need to do is find a lender, this and that. So first thing I did was, Falia, I went to my bank.
Right.
Like, I also people talk about,
you came to me already qualified.
Yeah.
And that's unheard of, girl.
I didn't
Good
know
for you.
I didn't know nothing about it. So I went to my bank and I was like trying to fill out the application online, but I didn't know how to do it.
Right.
And I called my brother. I was getting frustrated. I was like, Jonas, I don't know how to do this thing. Like, it's asking me all these questions and I don't know what the answer is. And he's like, you do know you don't need to go through your bank, right? There's other sources. I was like, no, I don't know that. But thank you for telling me. Yes. And then he gives me the name of this lender, and I contacted the lender, told him my story, and we just hit it off. And then, so that's when the lender was like, okay, you know what? And you guys, it's important to find a good lender too. Like, this guy worked his butt off. Like, I knew he was working for a commission, but I did not care. Like, I just know that
You got to give him a shout out. Michael.
What's his last
name? Bergman?
Michael Bergman?
I think I'm saying it wrong.
I don't know forgot his last name. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah,
but Michael,
Bergman. I think it's Bergman.
Oh, that's right. Michael Bergman from Loan Depot.
Michael, you getting a shout out?
Yes, if you're listening to this, you are one of the best lenders I have ever had.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I had him and Fire educating me. Tell me how I did not hit the jackpot. I was like, thank you, Jesus. But yeah, we had a plan, and then I was talking, and the thing is too, it's good to tell not other people. I didn't want to tell everybody because for me, I felt like buying a new home in a way is like birthing.
Right.
Like, you don't know if the child's coming or not.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So I didn't want to tell everybody. But I told people that I trusted, that can hold me accountable, like, to make sure that I kept going with my plan.
Right.
So I told a few friends, like, you know, okay, so what I'm doing. They're praying for me, and these friends are giving me advice, and I'm like, you need people like that in your corner, okay?
Exactly.
But to make a long story short, it is important to have a plan for real. Like, you don't want to just go to this thing blindly. And don't know what you're doing or know where you want to buy it.
Right.
And for us, it was like a 5-month process. Mostly because my credit was good. I'm giving it to y'all real. Thank you, Jesus, for my brother.
And part of it was just the home being built that took so long.
Yes.
I feel like you could have done it within 30 days.
This
really.
is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So it's important to know how to manage your money. Important to keep your credit score up. And it's important to pay your bills on time. Some of y'all be thinking it's okay. No, that thing follows you, y'all. I'm telling you, it follows you.
It does.
So I like paying my bills on time because for me, it's like I feel like I'm supporting somebody else's paycheck. That's how I look at it.
Right.
Like, God gave me a gift and I'm gifting somebody else with it. You know what I'm feeling?
Right.
So don't sleep on like doing things the right way or thinking it's the man's way of doing things. No, it's gonna help you in the long run.
Exactly. And you do need that credit score. That credit score is everything. And I feel like we could do like a whole podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm giving you a little hint here.
Yeah.
On the importance of credit report. Your credit is like your passport.
Yeah.
I have had clients tell me, oh no, I don't do credit cards, or I don't do credits because, you know, it's something I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
It all depends on how you use it. I'm gonna let you go.
No, it's true. Tell them they need to know, girl. Give them a little snippet. It's important how you use it.
You need a good credit score. Now, we're not saying you have to have a perfect score, but at least know what your score is and take some steps to get it to where you want it to be, because homeownership, unless you have the cash, you need that credit to be able to get you there.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
I'm going to say for them.
Yes, for sure. And what advice would you give someone would you give to someone who is eager to buy a home but
Right.
is bogged down or stressed with carrying tons of student and credit card debt?
Great transition, because you know what? Like I said, your credit is your passport in the financial world. As you guys may know, if you're buying a car, you're making any type of transactions where you don't have the cash, you need to get a loan. And lenders look at your credit and they look at your income, which is your ability to pay back. If everybody had the cash available, we would not care for credit. But we don't. Even people who are wealthy, who have a lot of money, use credit to get them to the next level. They don't use their own money.
That's true.
So it's like a hot commodity. You gotta have it. It's best to have a good credit than not have a good credit. Now, there are some people out there with no credit because they're young, they're starting out. Like I said, this is another podcast.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
basically, if you have credit card debts and you have student loans, those are not reasons enough for you not to be able to qualify for a home.
Yeah.
You can buy a home with student loan debt. You can buy a home with credit card debt. The question is, how much debt do you have versus what you have available on those credit cards, for example? And that brings us to what they call your credit utilization rate. The credit utilization rate is a number that lender says if the money you spend on bills every month is 46% higher than what you make as income, you are a bad debt. They don't want to lend you money, or if they do, you're gonna have to pay a very high interest. So as far as credit cards are concerned, the trick is to keep your credit utilization rate under 30%. So you shouldn't really have more than 1/3 of your available balance outstanding. You shouldn't really spend more than 1/3, and if you do, you should have a plan to pay it back within that month or the next few months. So when you have more than 1/3 of available credit outstanding, it messes up your credit utilization rate.
Yes.
So if you have credit card debt, that's not going to keep you from buying a home, but you need to make sure those credit card debts are paid down, and you want to make sure that you are up to date with your student loan payments and you're not delinquent. Just like you want to make sure you don't have bankruptcies, because those things will definitely keep you from buying a home.
Yes.
So what I would say is that credit card debt and student loans cannot keep you, or any type of debt cannot keep you from buying a home.
Right.
It all depends on how do you use that debt, because there's good debt, there's bad debt.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking at a car loan versus a mortgage. Even though you have way more money that you owe on a mortgage, it's better to have a mortgage versus having a lot of outstanding car debt.
Right.
Credit card, same thing. You can have a credit card. The credit card can actually help you increase your credit score and build good credit.
That's true.
It all depends on how you use it.
Yeah, that's very good. Last question. How can someone go about educating themselves a little bit further in the home buying process?
So if you don't have someone you're working with yet, and you're like, okay, I want to learn more about this stuff, I want to say begin by, the internet is a great resource.
Yes.
Go to the experts, like I said, I learned through my experience with working with buyers. Every day I'm learning something new, and I am willing to admit that I don't know what I don't know. So I have mentors in the real estate industry, other agents who are actually doing really well, and I would call them and say, oh, here's an issue. How do I go around it? What would you recommend? I listen to their advice. I take their advice. I follow their advice, because they are the expert in a particular area. Like you heard Alice said, I work with lenders. Sometimes I would recommend a lender just because of my experience at what I've learned from them. And don't be afraid to go to the expert and invest in yourself if you have to. As far as what I mean is, as far as maybe there are courses out there you can take at your local university, financial education courses. Read about your market, read about the area where you live, ask questions. And the internet really is a great resource, and there's a lot of information out there. Listen to a podcast like this that will educate you on the home buying process by bringing experts to you guys. And nobody knows everything. And like I said, I like to say that you don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Go to the expert, trust the experts, because that's why they're the experts. They have the experience, and they can help you get yourself to the next level. So start by acknowledging that you need to know, and if there's a particular topic that you're interested in, read about it. If it's credit, how to build your credit, or how to get out of debt, there's just so many resources out there, and you need to really think about, okay, I need to take the step further to educate myself on this, and trust the experts.
Yeah, for sure. So if you've made it this long If you've been listening this long, thank you. We're getting to the fun part, okay, Falia? This is the speed questions.
What you gonna ask me?
Fun Q&A questions.
Okay.
So not only is it that you need to find a good realtor, but you need to know if your realtor has personality. Can they take a joke? Okay. So we're gonna ask Falia.
Oh my gosh! What's she gonna ask me?
Fun and speed questions, y'all. She ain't read. She did not.
Alice.
She does not know.
Okay.
Okay? She don't know.
Let's see.
So here we go. What's the word that best describes who you are and why you are here on planet Earth?
Hard questions. The word that best describes me, who I am, why I'm here. Why am I here, Alice?
Why are you here, girl? Why did the good Lord send you down to planet Earth?
Let's see if I can sum this up. So I am big on human connection and deep relationship. And I like to connect with people on a deeper level. I love people.
You're intentional.
I am intentional about everything that I do. That's good.
Intentional.
Thank you. See, I didn't know that about
myself. Intentional.
I am really intentional. Yes, let's say that. I try to spend my time on things that I know will give me results. I absolutely like to avoid superficial relationships. I'm very intentional with what I do. Yeah, even with my professional life, personal life, you name it, spiritual life. I'm very intentional, and I like to connect with people on a deeper level.
Very good. And who would you say is your hero or inspiration, and why?
That's an easy one. It's actually my mom.
Oh, love the mamas, man.
She is a mighty woman. My mother is my role model. My mother is someone I just admire her tenacity. I admire her courage. She raised 4 daughters. I'm the oldest. She raised 4 daughters as a widow on her own in the United States, with no education, and she has set some great examples for us. Right now she retired. She has accomplished a lot of things, like owning her home, in the United States. She just set great examples for us. And until now, I like the way she cares for her grown children.
Wow.
We're all grown, married with children on our own, but my mother still acts like she has 4 little girls, and she is there for them when we need her. She's just an amazing person.
All right. And what is your favorite destination or place of travel so far?
Oh, easy one too. Anywhere there's really nature. I'm like the type of person that would just get up and go in the woods somewhere. Not like it. Like if there's nature around me, I am happy. I am not a city girl. My favorite destinations for that is Canada, in the mountains of Canada. I've had a lot of great experiences there as far as nature and being in an area where you can really appreciate. I like to be in nature, so anywhere that I can see mountain, rivers, and trees, I'm happy.
And finish this sentence for me. I am most happiest when
I'm with people.
Hey!
I love having people around.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes.
All right. And what is most important for your mental health at this current season of your life? Is it peace? Is it clarity? Is it prayer? What would you say?
I want to say prayer and clarity, because in the midst of this, life, we tend to just, there's just so many things coming very different directions. You don't really have clarity. And every now and then I will demand a moment of clarity. So I would take some time off for myself. I would go away for a day, even if it's, like I said, by myself or with family. But I am realizing more and more how important it is to actually have that little bit of clarity.
Yes, ma'am.
And it makes a difference because stuff come all over all the time. And and for myself, I absorb a lot of the things happening around me. But sometimes I really need to, I'm not saying I'm there yet. I'm learning to take some time, even if it's a morning, even if it's an hour before bed. I need that moment where it's just me with my thoughts, me thinking or praying and getting that clarity, because it does help me be a better person. And the ability to actually keep going, because otherwise I feel like we could all just mentally crash.
Right. And what would you say is your most proudest accomplishment right now in life?
It has to be my kid. I have a teenager. She is an amazing person. I'm not just saying that because she's my child, but she really is someone who I've watched her being more and more considerate of others, and I really like that quality about her. I'm really proud of her. She's a hardworking person. She's like a little mommy, but she's her own person. But I just love the way she is. She cares for others deeply, and that's like a good quality that I find in her, and I'm very proud of that. Very proud of her. The person she's become.
Last question for those of you who are not Creole speakers. Last question. What is the greatest gift we can give ourselves?
Greatest gift you could give you. Let's see. I'm just gonna answer this from my perspective because I don't know everybody else's story. I think for me is really the gift of forgiveness. Forgive yourself, and that also will help you with the ability to forgive others.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta put ourselves first, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for your time today, Miss Falia. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy day to stop and press play. Be sure to check this video out, the full video, on YouTube at Alice Marius TV. And also, I'm going to have this uploaded in a few days. The podcast is Protect Your Glow, the podcast. You can listen to it on iTunes, on Stitcher, anywhere a podcast is being played. So thank you guys for your time, and tell the people, Falia, how they can keep in touch with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, again, this was an awesome experience being here with you, with your listeners. I invite you guys, I encourage you to actually share this podcast with others. You can get in touch with me via Facebook at Falia Justima Realtor if you are on Facebook. You can also check my website at teamteachers3.com or visit us at bridgeadvisors.org. I'm also going to leave my email address, which is faliajustima@gmail.com. It's FALIAJUSTIMA@gmail.com.
Thank you guys once again. Have yourself a great Sunday, and I will talk to you soon on my next podcast. See you later.
Bye.